Flavio Goncalves, bear with. So he was indicted in South Florida, Miami. He and Emerson Perez are both from Brazil. Now, Goncalves, or Goncalves, whichever way you want to say it, is that's how common that name is in Brazil. It might be unusual in Idaho, but it ain't unusual in Brazil. This is Steve Goncalves Sr., who sadly passed away last June. He's from California, and fortunately, we have his obituary, and it takes us back a few generations, and they go back for 2 more generations. So we've got Gerald. Gerald is Steve Sr.'s father, okay. That's California. And then Gerald's father is Antonio Joseph Goncalves, back to 1886, that's California. And this other, I guess they could have cousins in Brazil, perhaps. These people are from Brazil. Flavio Goncalves is from Brazil, and as I said, it's a really common name in Brazil, but it's actually, I think their family hail from Portugal. But I need to do a bit more digging to confirm that. So we've just got the mom of Antonio. Hold on. Madeira, yeah. Okay, so see the second paragraph. 1920 census of Madeira, California. Emily Goncalves, age 80. She and parents born in Portugal migrated in 1900. So they're from Portugal. Mrs. Amelia Francisca Goncalves, 88, resident of Madeira for the past 18 years, died at 8 o'clock here yesterday afternoon at the home of her daughter, Mrs. Frank J. Cesara, a native of Flores Azores. Flores Azores. Is this in Portugal? Flores. Was that a Z or was it an S? Azores. An island in Portugal. Yeah. So, yeah, I think his family from Portugal. I don't know if it's all the tentacles of his family. So this would be great-grandma of Steve, I think. So Steve Junior, but not Junior. Steve, who we are talking about with a hex on his hat. This is his grandmother, I believe. So she's from Fresno, died in Merced. Parent, spouse, siblings. So if we look at Gerald, oh, hold on, siblings, that's his, so it's not his grandmother, it's his grand aunt then, perhaps. Oh yeah, they only had Steve. So he hasn't got any brothers or sisters by the looks of it. Oh. No, I thought he did have. There is another obituary. This one doesn't have any information on it. Because I've read one that lists the family. So let's have a look at the other one. Steve Goncalves. Oops. Stevenson. obituary. So yeah, look, he was born in 1951 in Merced, California. Can you tell I don't like it if I don't know how to pronounce something. Gerald Goncalves and Betty Shelby, his parents. He worked in the construction industry as a mechanic. He served his country in the army. He enjoyed music, hunting and fishing. Steve, so we're talking about Steve Sr. here, is survived by his wife Cheryl, who's still alive, and I think they're pretty close, the family, from what I can tell. Sons Stephen, Nathan. Brothers Dennis, see, I said he's got brothers. Dennis, and Greg. But they live in Texas and California. See, this is what I wondered about Dennis living in Texas when it was said that... and there's also a Dennis Jr., I think. I think Dennis has got a son called Dennis because I've seen a picture of him. And I think he's into cars and maybe boats as well. And so he lives in Texas. And I wondered if she might be going to stay with them. If she was indeed going to Texas. But there was some sort of, now was it graduation ceremony? I was looking at a video today, but then again I think her brother graduated in May, so let me see if I can find the video. Okay, they're going to talk about commencement ceremonies. I do not know what a commencement ceremony is. We just had graduation ceremonies. So there's something called commencement. It's this, you said the beginning of a countdown to graduation or something, because they're wearing graduation gowns. Look,
that comes in, they're looking into.
The university preparing to close for winter break after holding commencement ceremonies over the weekend, honoring Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Goncalves, who was set to graduate. Instead, her father Steve, desperate for answers and pleading with authorities to find the person.
So, my question is, obviously I don't know when you graduate in the USA, but I'm pretty sure Stephen graduated in May, and I'm sure I heard it said that Kaylee was supposed to graduate at the same time. So this commencement, that's not graduation, although they're wearing graduation gowns, is it? And so that's just something, I don't know, the lead up to it or something. A ceremony before the ceremony. It's like getting engaged and then getting married. It's the engagement party, is it? So then, does everybody graduate at the same time? Does everybody graduate in May, usually? Because in the UK, it's actually, some people graduate in October. Sometimes they put the ceremony back a bit, but I think it's kind of it's basically around July. Or it could be, I can remember there being some in October. But you would have been doing exams in May in the UK. So, but yeah, what I'm trying to get at is, on another video, I explain it. I really don't want to explain it now because it's really late. And I made a video on it earlier, but I just cannot put it together right now. So hold that thought. And regarding whether Kaylee had actually finished her course, left her course to go to Texas or not, and I might just add the video onto here tomorrow. I think aloud a lot, just in case you didn't notice, so you just have to ignore those bits. Those bits are things that I'm supposed to be saying in my head, but I can't. So I'm sharing them with you, lucky people. Right, I better go to bed now because I did not sleep a wink last night, so I think I might need it. So I will be back with more soon.